Well, I will say that I am ready. I'm so ready to. I enjoy Colorado. It's been very, very pretty, very beautiful here. But yesterday we had our first little encounter with the cold, like a real encounter. It rained, the wind came, and then the hail came, and it looked like straight up snow as it was forming on the ground. That's how cold it was. So, yes, am I ready to go? I'm beyond ready.
We spent the summer in Colorado, but it was time to migrate south to warmer weather. We were headed to Las Vegas. No, not that Vegas, but the other Vegas, Las Vegas, New Mexico. The mountain pass through New Mexico was beautiful. We are going to put our EcoFlow Delta Pro system to the test as we are planning to boondock for 5 days. We finally arrived at our destination, Story Lake State Park. Alright, so we got here. It's windy, it's cold, so I'm not going to worry about setting the solar up right now because the sun's going down anyway. I'm going to have to probably run the solar out. I'm not sure out there in that field, but right now, as you can see, the RV is running on these batteries. We got in kind of late. It was a rush. We had to get the water set up and the solar and the batteries and get them all functioning and get in here, get her fed. We're hungry, and of course, since we're boondocking, I don't want to use the sink that much to wash dishes, though my wife forgot because she's used to camping hardcore, but I'm going to just eat right out of the pot.
The struggle. What are you eating in your struggle meal? Cajun pasta with shrimp?
Yep. It's a struggle, but...
Your struggle meal.
So anyway, the solar. We got both TVs on. We just turned them on to see what the draw would be. But with both batteries combined, it's saying running at the rate we're running now with no more input. We've got about 13 hours of power. That's running the refrigerator. That's, you know, the furnace might take a 100 watts or 150 watts or something like that to run. We're not going to need the AC. So anyway, I feel good about it. Tomorrow morning I got to get up and get these solar panels out so we can start moving this in the other direction instead of draining it. So we'll see what happens. Here's our setup. Batteries are running. We got here last night and we ran all night on the batteries, no problem. Anyway, I've got my 30 amp output there, running it down under here along with my solar and my my Starlink, and then I've got my panels. Well, there's the Starlink, and then I've just got my panels laying out here. I could prop them up with these cases they come in. They're about 38, I think they're 38 pounds each carrying these things around. So it takes a little bit of work and a little bit of humping to get them out here. I can prop them up, but I'm not going to. 9 in the morning, got those things out, and this extra battery is no longer putting into the output. The input is 280 from the solar panels, and the trailer's only using 240, so we're in the positive, which is why it's saying 3 days to charge at this rate, fully charged. Whereas this one is just hanging out. It's not getting any extra juice yet, but it will. We hooked it all up, and over the course of 13 hours, we drained about 50% of our batteries. But now we're back on the upswing because the sun's out and it's nice, and we're out here on this lake in the state park, and my wife is not happy. She does not like boondocking at all because she's a little princess. She's got to have all her little
amenities.
Everything's got to be.
My amenities.
I didn't even have coffee today. Coffee. How about that? Because I didn't want to use the heating element.
That's good. But I don't like to be cold.
That's all she's got.
That's all I got. I mean, I don't like to be cold. I don't like to be without my. You know, it's not even like I'm a princess and I just have to have so much stuff.
You are a princess.
I just want the things that I always have. The things that I always have access to. Like, I can always use my computer whenever I want to. I can always... I have a little space heater that's just for me. I can't... If I turn that on, man, it eats up all the power. So...
Yeah. Any heating element. So, listen, and when it comes to solar... Yeah, you got to give up a little bit when you're in a situation. And honestly, the place we're at is pretty, but it's not idyllic. So, like, there's certain places where if you're giving up certain amenities, then the scenery better be unbelievable. And where we're at, it's pretty, but it's not unbelievable. We're on a lake. It's nice. But there was a place we went to Colorado, for example. In fact, that reservoir, what was it? Big Meadow Reservoir?
Mm-hmm.
Without question, we could stay there. I could be happy and give up some amenities and whatever else and boondock and be happy as a lark. But, you know, so it's an experiment, but it is working. We are over 60% charged right now. It's just past 1 in the afternoon. We should be close to 90%, if not more, by the end of the day. The sun's out. We've got all the panels out. So we really should be fine boondocking here. And that's the other thing. You don't want to... I mean, listen. In any solar situation, you have to look at this. Is it going to be cloudy? Is it going to be rainy? This is pretty idyllic as far as the weather is concerned. We don't have to run the AC at all. When the heater comes on at night, it maybe takes a couple 100 watts until it heats up the house, maybe 15 minutes or whatever it is, 20 minutes, however long it runs. But the point is this is an ideal situation with our setup and our situation. If I did have the smart generator, as I've talked about in previous videos, I'll post that above. But if I had the smart generator, then we could basically do this indefinitely and we could run whatever we want pretty much. So we're just kind of testing it, taking it back a notch, seeing what we can do, and this is where we're at, and we're going to make it.
As long as we snuggle together and stay warm.
There ain't nothing wrong with snuggling. It's fun, it's interesting, and plus the other thing is it's pretty inexpensive. Like normally you're spending, $35, $40, $50 a night on a campground. It's only $10 a night to do what we're doing right here. So yeah, we got water and that's it. The sun is going directly overhead, and it really should. We should get sun until at least 5:30, 6 o'clock at night. But I've got the panels laying over here on the ground flat. The sun's going directly overhead, and obviously it's going to depend on where you are located, where your RV is situated, how long your cables are. Because I'm using these fold-up panels, which are convenient. They're about 38 pounds. You put them in a case, you carry them around, but they can stand up. The actual cases they come in, they do act as a stand. They're kind of awkward, to be honest, so I'm not a huge fan of how that works. But laying them flat on the ground, we can get plenty of sunlight in our current situation to make our boondocking experience successful. It's day 2 of us boondocking. Our batteries are at about 36% right now. It's about noon. We should be getting up to like 60% today, but we are running at a deficit every day. The first day we got here, the first night, we had all the lights on, both TVs. We were just like, yay! We burned through 50% of our batteries, and we had the heat on, everything. We were just living high on the hog. So last night, this one was really been very good, because normally she's very grumpy about the idea of boondocking. But you really were a trooper last night. She was like on her phone instead of the TV, trying to keep herself busy, not trying to conserve energy. And we did really good. When we went to bed last night, I went to bed about 11 or so. It was like 38% batteries, and then when we woke up, it was like 24%. Then the sun came up, and it was around 22% when it started charging. So right now we're pulling pretty good. We're almost at 800 watts with those 3 panels, and we're looking pretty good. However, and tonight's Thursday night football.
Oh boy.
So we have to have the TV full blast for like 3 or 4 hours. And
one TV though, just one.
But yeah, if it gets really bad, like I was thinking, catty corner, maybe, what do you think that is, 30 yards over there?
Yeah.
30 yards, maybe 25 yards across the way. There is a power site and no one's in it. If worse comes to worse, I'm going to try to get an extension cord to help charge while the solar's running, to make sure we have enough juice. What do you think?
Well, you know, I kind of switched my mentality with this whole thing. Instead of saying, I hate this, I'm like, enjoy the moment. Enjoy the journey. This is just something different that you would never, ever do before. So enjoy it and embrace the suck.
Well, it is, you do have to
Alter your life a
alter
little.
your life, and it's not something that I want to do on a regular basis.
No.
But it is something that I would do given the right circumstances, and I can see now more than ever how important it is to have something like the smart generator, because you can shore up your power at the end of the day. You can, mostly use solar. Let's say we get to 70-75% charge back up at the end of the day. We can punch it up to 100 and go throughout the night, no problem. Also run heat, whatever we want, be as comfortable as we want, and it would just take a little bit of fuel or propane to do it. So that's something we may end up getting at some point if we decide to do more boondocking. Then it won't be so bad for my baby.
You know what, yesterday it really wasn't bad. And I was on my phone, and it wasn't as bad as I anticipated. I think when you change your mindset, if anybody out there is like me and is like, boo-hoo, I don't want to boondock. And if you just change your mindset and just say, you know what, it's not forever, it's for a few days. We're doing this, and it's going to be okay.
It's a matter of your attitude. Your attitude.
It really is.
That's right. Check your toot at the door, baby. No, but really, honestly, it is a neat lifestyle. We meet so many people, and a lot of people who boondock. In fact, we met some folks here across the way that were boondocking, and everybody's got their own style, their own way of doing it, and it's for people that live full-time RV, there's all kinds of different techniques, I guess, that everybody uses or does, and this is how we want to live, this is how we like to live. And so we meet a lot of people that are just, that will go out in the desert for weeks at a time and boondock, and it's not our style, but I think if we just had that one other piece of equipment, we could do that. And there are some extraordinary places that you can't go unless you're able to boondock.
Yeah.
And so that's part of why we want this. We want to be able to go wherever we want to go, whenever we want to go. State parks, national parks, there's so many beautiful resources, and you won't have the amenities as you would at a campground, especially those ones where they cram you in like sardines. Forget that. I'd much rather boondock. So that's part of what this whole experiment is about.
Yeah, and it's been fun, and I feel like we've actually gotten a little bit closer because I'm not glued to the TV and he's not over there behind the computer. So this has really been good. I don't really have too much complaints. I'm not as cold as I was. Like yesterday when I woke up, it was freezing.
The weather's really nice here.
But today, like, I have my hoodie on. I do have on my boots because I don't care what anybody says. I'm going to wear my boots. And I had a little toboggan on because I get cold easily. But I'm okay right now, and I'm good. I'm happy.
All in all, it really is a neat experience because I just love the thought of generating your own energy and kind of living off the grid. That mentality always appealed to me. So I like experimenting with it. This morning when the sun rays came up, I was up. It was like 7 o'clock, and I was just waiting for those rays to start getting onto the edge of the solar panel so I could just look and see, okay, we're generating energy. That kind of stuff, I think, is exciting.
He was like a kid at Christmas. I didn't even hear him get up. Usually I hear him. I didn't even hear him get up this morning because he was so excited to go out here and check and see what the percentage was and when is the sun coming out. He was all about it.
I'm geeking out, I guess.
He's my little nerd.
That's right. So that's the update. We got Thursday night football tonight. Tomorrow's Friday, and I think it's going to be down to like 41, 42 tonight, 44 tomorrow. It gets up to 70 in the daytime, so it's really the weather's perfect for this type of boondocking.
It is.
Especially since we don't have like a generator or something that can really push us over the top. So we have to survive solely off the sun right now. We'll see what happens. Captain's log, start date 23.6 point something. So we are on our third day of boondocking. We came, I guess it's 3.5 days now. We've made it just fine. We watched the game, we watched TV, although we don't run a heat as much as my wife would like, just because it takes a couple hundred watts. So we have been doing some conservation. We are running at a deficit with our setup. The solar is up to like 20% right now as far as the battery charge, and it's like 10:30 in the morning. We'll probably get up over 50% today, but we've decided that this experiment has shown us exactly what we need. We're going to need an external source if we're going to do boondocking. I'm going to be leaning on that smart generator idea. But across the way, kitty corner, maybe 30 yards, there is a site that does have power, and they're getting ready to pack up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run an extension cord over there, and I'm going to multi-charge the EcoFlow batteries from both AC power and solar, so I can explain a little bit more about that and how it works. But we're going to charge up to 100%. We still got a couple more days here, and it's going to get a little chilly tonight, so I don't want my princess worrying about the heat. So that's the plan. We're going to go do that now. So multi-charging on the EcoFlow system, the first thing, I'm going to break my rule, but you want a nice extension cord, like a 10 gauge, a 12 gauge, an industrial extension cord, because you're running so much power through this line, and we're going to end up having to use this smaller gauge one to run across the way there, because this is longer. The shorter your extension cord, the better it's going to be. I mean, there's just so many advantages to having a smaller extension cord, but we can't reach with this cord, so I'm going to have to use this cord, and I'll tap directly into this plug right here, which is an AC input into the batteries. It will charge simultaneously with the solar. You can set the input, like if you want 400 watts coming in, 800. It's better to slow trickle when you're dealing with batteries, so I'm not going to push it too much up, but we want to get these batteries up to 100% today. And the other thing to consider about the AC, so let me just give you an example. It's a 20 amp basically, right? As long as I'm not running more than 20 amps off the system, it will run and charge simultaneously with the solar panels. However, if you're trying to run like an AC unit or something like that and it goes over 20 amps, it'll kick this off and you won't get any charge. So it can act as a pass-through, but only for 20 amps or less. And then it'll, like I said, it'll kick off. But in this situation, this is perfect. But it's like the sun is shining on us. So let's see what happens. So when you're running a lot of energy through an extension cord, you do not want it curled up. You don't want it laying on top of itself, because it will heat up and it could melt. So you want to make sure that nothing is, the whole thing is flat on the ground. You don't want any coiled cables or anything along those lines. I think we would make it just fine without doing this, but we're just gonna spend energy like it's the end of the world tonight. We are successfully multi-charging. So we're charging with the solar and with the AC, the 15 amp or 20 amp extension cord. As you can see, it's saying 3 hours to full charge. I can I can make that faster. I'm only allowing 700 watts of input to come in. Been charging for a couple hours. We're basically at 90%, as you can see here. The solar is still kicking, so the solar should continue to charge this up. It says an hour. We're hungry. We're gonna go get something to eat. So we're checking out. We'll have full power by the end of the day. While the batteries were charging, we decided to go into the field and check on some other boondockers. We found a pig along the way and decided to say hi.
Oh, he's peeing on your foot.
Oh boy, thanks.
Didn't see that one.
Good boy.
Oh, look at that
Such
face.
a rough life, I know.
Look at that little face. Hi. What's his name? Her name.
That's Max.
Max. Hi, Max.
Sweet baby.
What you been doing,
They're
Max?
so smart, aren't they?
Yeah, it's pretty good fish.
He's like, okay, I gotta check you out now. Don't pee on my feet, please.
He's gonna lean against you and start rubbing.
Oh boy. Can I pet him now?
Oh yeah.
We had plenty of battery power for the next 2 days, but it was time to pack up and head further south to our next destination. There are tons of people who boondock full time. They save tons of money on lot rent. While we are not interested in full-time boondocking, I will say that these batteries have come in quite handy during our time RVing. The plug-and-play aspect with a built-in 30 amp output is spectacular. I use them when I want to cook with a flat top outside or use my smoker all day. We've had power outages and these are an amazing emergency backup. All in all, it was a successful stop and we hope you enjoyed our adventure. See you next time.